we got more? Do we got more questions?
Yeah.
Lots more.
I don't even remember how that one started.
Whoops. Wrong button.
Boy, yeah, we went on a tangent.
Oh, that was the hot sauce
Oh,
question.
hot
It was
sauce.
hot sauce. Favorite 90s action movie?
Oh, I know. I have an answer for this one right away.
I don't have one for that.
Oh boy, I don't know if mine would be considered action movies. Here, you guys go.
Mine is Speed.
Oh,
I rewatched that recently because of you. It definitely holds up. Definitely holds up.
It's such a good movie. I love that movie.
well, that's a good one.
And it's Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is awesome.
And Sandra Bullock.
The Matrix was 1999, right? That was a good action movie.
Yep. Oh God, yeah, that was great. It was one of the first DVDs I owned. I think it was the second DVD I owned.
Nice.
I was going to say a movie, I realized that was 1989, so doesn't
You're not allowed to pick 80s movies, old man.
Breakfast Club doesn't count.
You would be in on this list. It's Batman, but
I know. Was Batman an action movie?
Is that the original Batman?
Yeah, the Tim Burton Batman.
Okay.
so I'm going to go with Tango and Cash.
Oh my God, Rambo is a pussy.
Because
One of the best.
I saw
lines
that.
from
I saw that movie once, and it has been so long. Was that Patrick Swayze?
Oh
no, that's
no, it was
Roadhouse.
It was Russell, Kurt Russell.
Russell. Oh, am I thinking of Roadhouse then?
You might be thinking of Roadhouse, which I watched the new one of that
You're
recently.
thinking Roadhouse,
Yeah, it was
but
okay.
I'm not.
Oh, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
No, I
it was
was
okay.
saying it when was he in that?
The new one.
Oh, the new one.
I literally watched it night before last.
Roadhouse is 89.
I want to start boycotting new versions of old movies. Hollywood needs to come up with something new. Everything's a remake now, and I hate it. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I guess that's a sequel, not a
It's a
remake.
sequel,
But
it's not a
still,
remake.
they need to come up with something new.
But what
We
about
need a fresh
Dune?
movie.
Then we wouldn't have Dune, Josh.
Dune is a
Crazy
remake.
talk. I know.
It's awesome, and I watched it.
Yeah,
but it's still
wonderful.
not something new.
I know,
but I
but
should-
we,
yeah.
but yeah, we shouldn't say don't bring us this thing because
But I've already seen it. So
I guess
I want to go see it again, though. I want to go see it in the theater again.
I guess I would
I
take
watched
away
part
Lord of the
one a
Rings,
million
too.
times. Huh?
I guess I would take away Lord of the Rings too.
I mean, I guess
Well-
technically it was a remake from the cartoons.
They never really made a proper Lord of the Rings, though.
But
Yeah, the cartoon scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Dude, Tango and Cash was such a good
Yeah.
choice.
I'm a
Holy shit.
huge fan of cheese. Oh, and what's her name? The sister of Sylvester Stallone that Kurt Russell was
I didn't
rubbing,
know he had a sister.
was bumping uglies on
In
the couch
the
with.
movie.
Oh,
God, I
She
forget
was
what
in-
actress that was.
She was
I forget
in
what actress
Star
it was.
Trek, The Next Generation, I believe. Terry Hatcher.
oh, she was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Sam, can you even name a '90s action movie?
yeah. What is yours, Sam?
Speed.
I'll say mine. Speed's good.
Sam watched Speed with me.
Copy.
Sam almost paid attention during Speed.
Speed 2. No, just kidding.
Speed 2 was
God,
terrible.
On the
Stop
ship,
it.
on the
didn't watch
boat.
it.
Seen
I
that.
didn't
We
watch
tried. Yes, you have. We tried to watch it. So we watched Speed like it was a couple months ago now. And I was like, oh, I forgot how awesome this movie is. This is so good. I was all pumped up after we watched it. And then the next day I was like, let's watch Speed 2. We didn't finish it. We got
Okay, I
we're
remember
like 3/4 of the way through. And I was like, I can't. I just can't. This is too bad. It was unwatchable. It's terrible.
Okay, so mine, I don't know if they technically constitute. There's a lot of action in them, but I think they technically constitute as a drama. But I mean, if I'm going to, it's got to be Braveheart and Gladiator.
Okay, Braveheart. I loved Braveheart.
Braveheart's probably my favorite movie of all time.
I bought that on the dual VHS back in the day. I watched that so many times.
Did you know that
God.
Gladiator was the first DVD?
The first ever DVD?
Or was it the first Blu-ray?
I don't think
know.
it's possible that it was the first DVD.
It's the first Blu-ray then.
Maybe.
No,
Yeah, maybe.
it was.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with Braveheart. Okay. So I was like a fantasy nerd back in the day, and there were no good fantasy movies. And Braveheart was like the closest thing.
Legend
It
was
was like-
okay.
Well, yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, like, there was no
Best Tom
like
Cruise movie.
epic. There was no like epic fantasy movies. And Braveheart was like guys with swords, and I was like, this is close enough. I'm gonna like this. And
The
I
Secret of
watched it so
Nim.
many times. But that was Secret of Nim, did you say?
Yeah.
That was a kid's
was a
movie. I watched that over and over again as a kid. I've seen that movie more times than I can count.
Scared the crap out of me as a kid.
But there was no Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like there was no Game of Thrones. Like there was nothing like that.
There's never going to be again. That's the big, like, they need to release all the extra footage so bad. Ugh.
There's more footage
Of what?
Oh, like 6 hours more if we're adding up to all the
Lord of the
movies.
Rings?
Yeah,
Crap.
a lot of people are asking them to like
It'll be the
re-release
Snyder
it.
cut.
In like well, they're asking for them to re-release just the whole thing in like a series format, like hour-long chunks, and they could do that like
That'd be
really
tough.
easily.
That'd be tough to cut into episodes.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, they could do it. Like I've done a lot of research on this because I really want more, but I'm the weirdo that stood in line for tickets, like, and then we got to see it midnight every time. Then I'd go back the next day, see it at 2 p.m. and at 6 p.m. each time the new ones. Literally seen it 3 times, each of them 3 times in 24 hours at the theaters. Then I'd buy the extended cut when they came out. I still have them over here. And then we'd watch those like 7 times. I mean, it's unbelievable how much I've watched that movie.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about Lord of the Rings, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, me and a friend of mine, back when they came out in theaters, we went to see them like opening day, each movie. And then I can't remember if it was after the first one or after the second one or the third one. At some point, the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto opened up this exhibit, this Lord of the Rings exhibit. And we made the drive to go see it, and it was so cool. They had like all the props from the movies. It must have been after the third movie because they had like miniatures of like the big cities like Minas Tirith and that for the battles, Helm's Deep. They had all like authentic. No, it was a museum. They had like authentic like the orc costumes, and they had like the what's his name Aragorn's sword, and they had like all that stuff. It was this huge, like half the museum was dedicated to it. And we just went and spent the whole day just completely nerding out over this stuff. And it was so cool. Like they had rooms. They had one room where they had like a whole like a 4D experience kind of thing where you could walk through. And I think it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure it was the Battle of Helm's Deep. So like you'd go in and it was like they'd have like battle noises, and it was like everything was like wet, and like there's like they had like miniatures of like the walls and like the siege machines and the ladders and stuff like that. It was so cool.
Oh man, one of my things I'd love to do.
Toronto.
One of the things I'd love to do before I die is just like hopefully they keep it open a while, but the town that they filmed most of it in New Zealand is now like a tourist town. You can go check everything out. I would love to go do that.
I've heard that's a thing.
Cool.
Let's do a group trip.
Yeah, you know what I really wish? I really wish the Hobbit movies were better.
Yeah, the Hobbit movie.
I still
Because
liked them, but they were
I did
nowhere
too.
near what Lord of the Rings was.
We just watched them this past week, and most of the time I was good. I was like, okay, I like this type of movie, so I'm going to enjoy this. I can decide ahead of time I'm going to enjoy something, and I'll get through it. And it was mostly good. But there were some parts where I was just like, I can't right now. Like the barrel. The barrel chase.
Mountain cold to dungeons deep. I love the soundtrack too.
Yeah.
What would Bilbo Baggins do?
The barrel chase, though. The barrel chase down the river. Do you remember the barrel chase down the river?
I do. It was too much seed. It was too much seed.
I know.
CGI,
It
right?
sucked me right out of it. Like when I started, I was like, okay, this could be cool. And I'm watching and I'm like, no.
He talks about regretting the amount of CGI he didn't want it, all that CGI. He like basically had to like I've listened to a lot of YouTube all the time, but he fought to have more live action, but inevitably lost the fight.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy, so much focus was on the practical effects and miniatures and stuff like that. A whole bunch of like in-camera stuff, right? Like that was why it was so cool. Like they had so much of those practical effects, and it looked so real, and it felt kind of real, right? But then the Hobbit movies, it looked fake. Like it was what 10 years newer, but it looked worse.
Well, they also, have you ever bought a 120 hertz TV after you've had a 60 hertz TV forever, and for about the first month and a half or 2 months, it's like, why does this look so weird? Well,
Yes.
The Hobbit was one of the first movies that they shot in. Oh, some film nut's gonna crucify me, but I believe most things are shot in 24 frames. The Hobbit was shot in like 30 something frames, or maybe even like low 40s, and it was very off-putting for a lot of people in the theaters. It was a huge scare for them too when they did that. So I don't know if that was a factor or not, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah,
I enjoyed them, but
it doesn't look as real.
yeah, it was rough compared to the first ones. The
I don't
first ones
know.
were so good.
That Legolas jumping up the fallen rocks was kind of realistic to me.
Josh
Anything
hated
with-
the fact that Legolas was in The Hobbit.
Legolas shouldn't have been in The Hobbit.
That's got one of the
Oh
best.
wasn't
my
in The
God, I
Hobbit.
forgot. I
That's
forgot
got one of the
that.
best
Yeah,
memes
no-
out there.
When he was like young and a dick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
young, but looks older.
Yeah.
So there's that meme where it's like Legolas and the female elf. I don't remember what her name was. She's played by the girl from Lost,
Taramanel or something. Start with a T.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Tamriel. There we go.
No, I don't think
No,
it's
I
that.
But they're
What is
talking.
that from?
That sounds familiar.
Tamriel. That's. Shoot, what is that from? Is
I
that?
know it. I know
Oh,
it
is that
from-
Elder Scrolls?
Yes.
That's Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. But they're sitting there talking.
Oh,
and he's-
it's the land. Okay.
Yeah.
I forget the actual wording, but it's like we have to go, and she goes, "Well, shouldn't we be here?" And he goes, "No, we're not even in the book."
Was that said in the movie?
No. It was.
No,
uh,
that would have been funny. Yeah.
Oh,
meme.
okay.
Yeah. Although they did make 3 movies out of a relatively short book, so
That would have helped too. Like, they didn't need that many movies for it.